Can't Hurt Me. Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds. Writing by David Goggins. Published by Wise Office Audiobook. Introduction to David Goggins and His Journey. David Goggins, the author of Can't Hurt Me, Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds, is not just a writer, but a living testament to the power of mental resilience and physical endurance. Born into a world rife with challenges, Goggins' early life was marked by severe adversity that would have deterred many. Growing up in a household marred by domestic violence, poverty, and racial discrimination, he faced obstacles that could easily have defined his life trajectory negatively. However, instead of succumbing to these hardships, Goggins harnessed them as catalysts for transformation, setting the stage for an extraordinary journey of self-overcoming. The narrative of Can't Hurt Me is deeply personal, yet universally inspiring. It delves into Goggins' tumultuous childhood, detailing instances of abuse and neglect that left indelible marks on his psyche. Yet it is also a story of redemption and triumph, chronicling how he emerged from this bleak backdrop to become one of the most formidable figures in endurance sports and military service. His achievements include completing the grueling Navy SEAL training, participating in ultra-marathons, and setting records in some of the world's toughest races. At its core, Can't Hurt Me transcends the boundaries of a typical memoir. It serves as both a motivational guide and a practical manual for anyone looking to push beyond their perceived limits. Through vivid storytelling and candid reflections, Goggins shares the strategies and mindsets that propelled him through seemingly insurmountable challenges. He introduces concepts like the 40% rule, which posits that when we believe we've reached our limit, we've actually only tapped into about 40% of our true capacity. This idea, among others, forms the backbone of the book's approach to mental fortitude and physical perseverance. Moreover, the book does not merely recount Goggins' past. It actively engages readers in their own potential transformations. Each chapter concludes with actionable exercises labeled "Do the Work," designed to help readers apply Goggins' teachings to their lives. These exercises encourage self-reflection, goal-setting, and confronting personal fears, making the book not just a read, but an experience aimed at fostering real change. In essence, Can't Hurt Me is more than a memoir. It is a clarion call to defy odds, master one's mind, and embrace the discomfort necessary for growth. It reflects Goggins' philosophy that true strength lies not in avoiding pain, but in confronting it head-on and using it as a tool for empowerment. Through his harrowing yet uplifting story, Goggins offers a blueprint for overcoming adversity and achieving greatness, urging readers to look beyond their current limitations and strive for a life unbound by conventional constraints. The Foundations of Adversity: Goggins' Early Life and Its Impact. David Goggins' early life was a crucible of hardship, shaping the man who would later become synonymous with resilience and mental toughness. Born into a family plagued by domestic violence, Goggins witnessed and endured physical and emotional abuse from a young age. His father, a volatile and often absent figure, subjected the family to frequent outbursts of rage, creating an environment of fear and instability. This toxic atmosphere was compounded by financial struggles, as the family frequently teetered on the brink of poverty, adding another layer of stress and uncertainty to Goggins' formative years. Racial discrimination further complicated Goggins' childhood. Growing up as an African American in a predominantly white community, he faced prejudice and exclusion, which only deepened his sense of alienation. These experiences of racism were not just external. They permeated his internal world, leading to a profound struggle with identity and belonging. The constant battle against societal biases, forced Goggins to develop a thick skin early on, teaching him to navigate a world that often seemed stacked against him. These adversities did not merely shape Goggins' worldview, they fundamentally altered his psychological landscape. The trauma of abuse instilled in him a persistent fear and anxiety, feelings that lingered well into his adult life. However, rather than allowing these emotions to cripple him, Goggins learned to channel them into fuel for personal growth. The instability and chaos of his home environment taught him the importance of self-reliance and adaptability, skills that would prove invaluable in his later pursuits. Financial hardship also played a critical role in shaping Goggins' character. Living paycheck to paycheck, his family often had to make do with less, instilling in him a deep appreciation for hard work and resourcefulness. This economic struggle underscored the value of perseverance and tenacity, qualities that Goggins would later embody in his extreme physical and mental challenges. Despite, or perhaps because of, these daunting circumstances, Goggins developed an indomitable spirit. The adversities he faced did not break him. Instead, they forged a mindset geared towards survival and success. His early exposure to such intense challenges equipped him with a unique perspective on pain and suffering, viewing them not as deterrents, but as opportunities for growth. This perspective became a cornerstone of his philosophy, encapsulated in his belief that embracing discomfort is essential for personal evolution. Thus, Goggins' early life, fraught with abuse, poverty, and racial discrimination, laid the groundwork for his future achievements. These experiences imbued him with a resilience that would later enable him to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. They taught him the crucial lesson that adversity, while painful, can be a powerful teacher, offering lessons in strength, endurance, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. Can't hurt me. Goggins does not shy away from these painful memories. Instead, he embraces them, using his past as a testament to the human capacity for transformation and triumph over adversity. The 40% Rule: Unlocking Hidden Potential. One of the most transformative concepts introduced in Can't Hurt Me is the 40% Rule, a principle that has become synonymous with David Goggins' philosophy of pushing beyond perceived limits. At its core, the 40% Rule posits that when individuals believe they've reached their breaking point, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally, they've actually only tapped into about 40% of their true capacity. This idea challenges the deeply ingrained belief that exhaustion or discomfort signals the end of what we can achieve. Instead, Goggins argues that much of what holds us back is self-imposed, rooted in fear, doubt, and a lack of understanding of our untapped reserves of strength. Understanding the science behind perceived limits. To fully appreciate the 40% Rule, it's important to understand the interplay between the mind and body when facing stress or fatigue. Human beings are wired to avoid pain and discomfort as a survival mechanism. When we feel overwhelmed, whether during a grueling workout, a demanding project, or a challenging life situation, our brain sends signals to stop, signaling that we've reached our limit. However, these signals are often premature. Research in sports psychology and neuroscience suggests that the body rarely reaches its actual physical or mental threshold. Instead, the brain acts as a governor, shutting down effort long before the body is truly spent to prevent harm. Goggins' 40% Rule flips this dynamic on its head. By recognizing that the initial wave of fatigue or resistance is not the end, but merely the beginning, individuals can train themselves to push through discomfort and access deeper reserves of energy and focus. This concept aligns with studies on endurance athletes who often report feeling a second wind after pushing past their initial limits. The key, according to Goggins, is to reframe the narrative around pain and fatigue, not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow stronger. Practical applications of the 40% rule. The beauty of the 40% rule lies in its simplicity and versatility. It can be applied across various domains of life, from physical fitness to professional endeavors and personal relationships. Here are some practical ways to implement this principle. 1. Physical training. Whether you're running a marathon, lifting weights, or engaging in any form of exercise, the 40% rule encourages you to push past the point where your mind tells you to stop. For instance, if you're doing a set of push-ups and feel like quitting at 20, challenge yourself to do 5 more. Then, push for another 5. Over time, this practice builds not only physical endurance, but also mental resilience, as you learn to override the voice in your head that says, "You can't." 2. Professional growth. In the workplace, the 40% rule can be applied to tasks that seem overwhelming or impossible. For example, if you're working on a complex project and feel like giving up halfway through, remind yourself that you're likely only at 40% of your potential. Break the task into smaller, manageable steps and focus on completing one step at a time. This approach not only helps you finish the project, but also boosts your confidence in tackling future challenges. 3. Personal development. On a personal level, the 40% rule can help you confront fears and insecurities. Whether it's public speaking, starting a new hobby, or having difficult conversations, the rule reminds you that discomfort is temporary and often precedes growth. By leaning into the discomfort rather than avoiding it, you expand your comfort zone and build resilience. Real-life examples from Goggins' journey. David Goggins' life is a living testament to the power of the 40% rule. One of the most compelling examples comes from his experience during Navy SEAL training, specifically Hell Week, a notoriously brutal phase designed to test the limits of physical and mental endurance. During Hell Week, candidates endure continuous physical exertion with minimal sleep, often in freezing conditions. Many quit when they hit what they perceive as their breaking point. Goggins, however, used the 40% rule to push through moments of extreme fatigue and despair. When his body screamed for rest and his mind urged him to ring the bell, the symbolic act of quitting, he reminded himself that he still had 60% left in the tank. This mindset allowed him to persevere and ultimately succeed where others faltered. Another striking example is Goggins' performance in ultramarathons. Despite having no prior experience in long-distance running, he trained rigorously and completed some of the world's toughest races, including the Badwater 135. A 135-mile race through Death Valley in scorching heat. During these races, Goggins often experienced excruciating pain, hallucinations, and overwhelming fatigue. Yet he repeatedly tapped into the 40% rule, pushing through each wave of discomfort and finishing races that seemed impossible to outsiders. Psychological benefits of embracing discomfort. Beyond the immediate physical and professional benefits, the 40% rule fosters significant psychological growth. By consistently pushing past perceived limits, individuals develop a greater sense of self-efficacy, the belief in their ability to overcome challenges. This in turn reduces anxiety and fear of failure, as they come to see obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth. Over time, this mindset shift leads to increased confidence, resilience, and a willingness to take on bigger challenges. Moreover, the 40% rule teaches the importance of delayed gratification. In a world that often prioritizes instant results, Goggins emphasizes the value of enduring short-term discomfort for long-term rewards. Whether it's sticking to a rigorous training regimen, working late to meet a deadline, or staying committed to a difficult relationship, the ability to delay gratification is a hallmark of success in any area of life. Conclusion: a blueprint for breaking barriers. The 40% rule is more than just a motivational concept. It's a practical framework for unlocking hidden potential. By reframing pain and discomfort as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, individuals can achieve feats they once thought impossible. David Goggins' life exemplifies this principle, showing that the limits we perceive are often illusions created by our minds. Through consistent application of the 40% rule, anyone can break free from self-imposed barriers and tap into the vast reservoirs of strength and resilience that lie within. As Goggins often says, when you think you're done, you're really only at 40%. The question is, are you willing to push further? The accountability mirror, facing yourself to forge. Resilience. One of the most transformative tools David Goggins introduces in Can't Hurt Me is the accountability mirror, a practice that epitomizes his philosophy of self-confrontation and accountability. This concept goes beyond mere reflection. It is a daily ritual designed to strip away excuses, expose weaknesses, and hold oneself accountable for progress. The accountability mirror is not just a metaphorical device, but a literal practice involving a mirror, sticky notes, and an unwavering commitment to honesty. Through this exercise, Goggins demonstrates how confronting one's flaws head-on can catalyze profound personal growth and resilience. The practice of the accountability mirror. The accountability mirror begins with a simple yet powerful act, standing in front of a mirror and staring directly at yourself. For Goggins, this was more than a superficial glance. It was an unflinching confrontation with the person staring back. He would write down his goals, weaknesses, and areas for improvement on sticky notes and place them around the mirror. Every morning, he would recite these affirmations and reminders aloud, forcing himself to acknowledge both his aspirations and his shortcomings. The mirror became a symbol of truth, a space where there was no room for denial or self-deception. This practice served multiple purposes. First, it reinforced Goggins' commitment to his goals by keeping them visible and tangible. Writing down objectives like lose 10 pounds, run a sub-4-hour marathon, or become a Navy SEAL made them real and actionable. Second, it forced him to confront his weaknesses, such as I procrastinate, or I let fear control me. By vocalizing these truths daily, Goggins stripped away the comfort of ignorance and replaced it with the discomfort of accountability. This discomfort, he believed, was essential for growth. Why accountability matters. Accountability is a cornerstone of Goggins' philosophy because it shifts responsibility from external factors to the individual. Too often, people blame their circumstances, poverty, upbringing, or systemic barriers for their failures. While these factors are undeniably real, Goggins argues that focusing on them only perpetuates a victim mentality. The accountability mirror disrupts this pattern by placing the onus squarely on the individual. It forces you to ask, what am I doing or not doing to achieve my goals? This shift in perspective is empowering, as it puts the reins of your life firmly in your hands. Moreover, accountability breeds discipline. When you commit to facing yourself every day, you create a feedback loop of action and reflection. If you fail to meet a goal, the mirror doesn't allow you to brush it under the rug. Instead, It demands an explanation and a plan for improvement. This process builds resilience as you learn to accept setbacks without letting them define you. Over time, the accountability mirror becomes a tool for self-mastery, helping you cultivate the mental toughness needed to overcome life's challenges. Real-life application. From failure to success. Goggins' use of the accountability mirror is deeply intertwined with his personal journey. One of the most poignant examples comes from his repeated attempts to pass Navy SEAL training BUDS. During his first attempt, Goggins failed miserably, struggling with the physical and mental demands of the program. Rather than accepting defeat, he turned to the accountability mirror to dissect what went wrong. He wrote down his weaknesses, "I'm not strong enough, I give up too easily," and vowed to address them. Each day, he confronted these truths, using them as fuel to push harder in his training. This practice paid off during his subsequent attempts. By holding himself accountable for his failures and committing to improvement, Goggins transformed his weaknesses into strengths. He didn't just pass BUDS, he excelled, proving to himself that he was capable of far more than he initially believed. The accountability mirror became a cornerstone of his success, helping him transition from a man burdened by self-doubt to one defined by resilience and determination. Psychological insights. The power of self-confrontation. From a psychological perspective, the accountability mirror taps into several key principles of behavior change. First, it leverages the concept of equos self-awareness, which is critical for personal growth. By forcing individuals to articulate their goals and weaknesses, the mirror fosters a deeper understanding of their behaviors and motivations. This heightened awareness makes it easier to identify patterns of self-sabotage and take corrective action. Second, the accountability mirror incorporates elements of cognitive dissonance, the psychological discomfort that arises when there's a mismatch between beliefs and actions. For example, if someone writes, "I will wake up at 5 a.m. every day" on their mirror, but consistently hits snooze, the dissonance between their stated goal and actual behavior creates tension. To resolve this tension, they must either change their behavior, wake up earlier, or abandon the goal. The mirror ensures that the latter option is not easy, as it keeps the goal front and center. Finally, the accountability mirror reinforces the importance of consistency in habit formation. By engaging in this practice daily, individuals create a routine that reinforces their commitment to change. Over time, this consistency builds momentum, making it easier to sustain progress even when motivation wanes. Beyond the mirror, expanding accountability. While the accountability mirror is a powerful tool, Goggins emphasizes that accountability doesn't stop at self-reflection. True accountability involves taking ownership of your actions and their consequences, whether positive or negative. This extends to relationships, careers, and broader life decisions. For instance, if you miss a deadline at work, owning up to the mistake and outlining a plan to prevent it in the future demonstrates accountability. Similarly, if you hurt someone's feelings, acknowledging your role in the conflict and making amends shows a willingness to take responsibility. Can't Hurt Me. Goggins shares stories of how accountability shaped his interactions with others. During his time as a Navy SEAL, he learned that accountability wasn't just about personal success, but also about contributing to the team. If a mission failed, it wasn't enough to point fingers. Everyone had to take responsibility for their part. This collective accountability fostered trust and cohesion, enabling the team to perform at its best. Conclusion: a lifelong commitment. The accountability mirror is more than a tool. It's a mindset. It teaches individuals to face their fears, confront their weaknesses, and take ownership of their lives. By practicing accountability daily, you build the resilience needed to overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. David Goggins' journey illustrates the transformative power of this practice, showing that true growth begins when you stop hiding from yourself and start holding yourself accountable. As Goggins often says, the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. The accountability mirror is the ultimate tool for ensuring you live up to that promise. Building a calloused mind, the path to mental toughness. A central tenet of David Goggins' philosophy in Can't Hurt Me is the concept of developing a calloused mind, a mental state characterized by resilience, adaptability, and the ability to withstand life's inevitable hardships. Unlike physical toughness, which can be cultivated through rigorous training and discipline, mental toughness requires a deliberate and sustained effort to condition the mind to embrace discomfort, confront fear, and persist in the face of adversity. Goggins likens the process to building calluses on the hands. Just as repeated friction toughens the skin, exposing the mind to challenges and pain gradually strengthens its ability to endure. This idea is not merely metaphorical. It is a practical framework for transforming the way individuals respond to difficulties, turning moments of struggle into opportunities for growth. What does it mean to have a calloused mind? A calloused mind is not born overnight. It is forged through consistent exposure to discomfort and the refusal to retreat when faced with difficulty. For Goggins, mental toughness is not about suppressing emotions or ignoring pain, but about learning to navigate them effectively. It involves cultivating a mindset that views obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as tests of character and opportunities to demonstrate resilience. This shift in perspective is crucial, as it reframes adversity from something to be avoided into something to be embraced. Goggins often emphasizes that mental toughness is not a fixed trait, but a skill that can be developed through deliberate practice. Just as muscles grow stronger with resistance training, the mind becomes more resilient when repeatedly pushed beyond its comfort zone. This process involves confronting fears, embracing failure, and learning to tolerate discomfort without succumbing to it. Over time, the mind becomes conditioned to handle stress and uncertainty with greater ease, much like a calloused hand becomes impervious to the sting of rough surfaces. Strategies for developing mental toughness. Goggins outlines several strategies for building a calloused mind, each rooted in his own experiences of overcoming immense challenges. These strategies are not abstract theories, but actionable practices that readers can incorporate into their daily lives to strengthen their mental resilience. 1. Embrace discomfort daily. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to build mental toughness is to intentionally seek out discomfort. Goggins advocates for small, consistent actions that push individuals out of their comfort zones. This could mean taking a cold shower, running an extra mile when you feel like stopping, or speaking up in a meeting when you'd rather stay silent. The key is to expose yourself to situations that trigger mild discomfort and then lean into them rather than retreat. Over time, these small acts of courage accumulate, conditioning the mind to handle larger challenges with greater ease. 2. Reframe pain as progress. Pain and discomfort are often seen as negative experiences to be avoided at all costs. However, Goggins argues that pain is a signal of growth. Whether it's the burn of lactic acid during a workout or the emotional strain of confronting a difficult conversation, pain indicates that you're pushing boundaries and expanding your capacity. By reframing pain as a sign of progress rather than a reason to quit, individuals can transform their relationship with discomfort. This mindset shift is particularly valuable in high-stakes situations, such as endurance races or high-pressure work environments, where the ability to endure pain can mean the difference between success and failure. 3. Practice delayed gratification. In a world that increasingly prioritizes instant results, the ability to delay gratification is a hallmark of mental toughness. Goggins often speaks about the importance of sacrificing short-term pleasures for long-term gains, whether it's skipping a night out to prepare for an exam, resisting the urge to quit during a tough workout, or staying committed to a challenging project. Delayed gratification builds the discipline needed to achieve meaningful goals. This practice also strengthens the mind's ability to resist impulses and distractions, fostering a sense of control over one's actions and decisions. 4. Develop a bias toward action. Mental toughness is closely tied to the ability to take decisive action, even in the face of uncertainty. Goggins encourages readers to adopt a bias toward action, meaning that instead of overthinking or waiting for the perfect moment, they should take immediate steps toward their goals. This approach not only builds confidence, but also reduces the paralyzing effects of fear and doubt. For example, if you're nervous about starting a new business, take one concrete step today, whether it's drafting a business plan or reaching out to a mentor. Action breeds momentum, and momentum reinforces mental resilience. 5. Cultivate a growth mindset. A growth mindset, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. Goggins embodies this mindset, viewing every failure or setback as an opportunity to learn and improve. Instead of seeing mistakes as evidence of inadequacy, individuals with a growth mindset treat them as valuable feedback. This perspective fosters resilience, as it encourages continuous improvement and reduces the fear of failure. By adopting a growth mindset, individuals can approach challenges with curiosity and optimism, knowing that each experience contributes to their development. Real-life examples. Goggins' demonstrations of mental toughness. David Goggins' life is a testament to the power of a calloused mind. One of the most striking examples comes from his experience during Navy SEAL training, particularly Hell Week, a grueling phase designed to test the limits of physical and mental endurance. During Hell Week, candidates are subjected to continuous physical exertion, sleep deprivation, and harsh environmental conditions. Many quit when they hit what they perceive as their breaking point, ringing the bell to signal their withdrawal. Goggins, however, approached Hell Week with a calloused mind, viewing each moment of pain and exhaustion as a test of his resolve. When his body screamed for rest and his mind urged him to quit, he reminded himself that discomfort was temporary, but quitting was permanent. This mindset allowed him to persevere and ultimately succeed where others faltered. Another powerful example is Goggins' participation in ultramarathons, despite having no prior experience in long-distance running. When he decided to compete in the Badwater 135, a 135-mile race through Death Valley in scorching heat, he faced immense physical and mental challenges. During the race, he experienced excruciating pain, hallucinations, and overwhelming fatigue. Yet he leaned on his calloused mind, pushing through each wave of discomfort and finishing the race. This achievement was not just a testament to his physical endurance, but also to his mental resilience, as he refused to let pain dictate his performance. The role of self-talk in mental toughness. Self-talk plays a critical role in developing a calloused mind. Goggins emphasizes the importance of controlling the narrative in your head. as negative thoughts can undermine mental toughness. When faced with adversity, individuals often engage in self-defeating dialogue, telling themselves, "I can't do this," or "This is too hard." These thoughts create a feedback loop of doubt and fear, making it harder to push through challenges. To counteract this, Goggins advocates for replacing negative self-talk with empowering affirmations. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm too tired to keep going," you might tell yourself, "I've got more in the tank." This shift in language not only boosts confidence, but also reinforces the belief that you're capable of overcoming obstacles. Goggins' use of self-talk is evident in his own experiences. During moments of extreme fatigue or pain, he would repeat phrases like, "Embrace the suck," or "You're tougher than this." These mantras served as anchors, grounding him in the present moment and reminding him of his capacity to endure. By mastering the art of self-talk, individuals can harness the power of their minds to push through even the toughest challenges. The long-term benefits of a calloused mind. Building. A calloused mind offers numerous long-term benefits, both personally and professionally. On a personal level, mental toughness enhances resilience, enabling individuals to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. Whether it's dealing with a job loss, recovering from a breakup, or managing health issues, a calloused mind provides the strength needed to persevere. Professionally, mental toughness translates into improved performance, as individuals are better equipped to handle stress, meet deadlines, and tackle complex problems. Leaders with mental toughness inspire confidence in their teams, as they demonstrate the ability to remain calm and focused under pressure. Moreover, a calloused mind fosters a sense of agency and empowerment. By taking ownership of their responses to challenges, individuals reclaim control over their lives. This sense of agency is liberating, as it shifts the focus from external circumstances to internal capabilities. As Goggins often says, "The only thing you can control is your effort." By focusing on what you can control, your mindset, your actions, and your attitude, you build the resilience needed to thrive in an unpredictable world. Conclusion: strengthening the mind. Like muscle, developing a calloused mind is akin to building muscle. It requires consistent effort, intentional exposure to discomfort, and a commitment to growth. David Goggins' life and teachings illustrate the transformative power of mental toughness, showing that the mind, like the body, can be conditioned to handle immense challenges. By embracing discomfort, reframing pain, delaying gratification, and cultivating a growth mindset, individuals can forge a calloused mind capable of withstanding life's toughest trials. As Goggins reminds us, the mind is the strongest muscle in the body. With the right training, it can become an unstoppable force, propelling you toward your goals and beyond your perceived limits. From failure to triumph. Lessons from Goggins' repeated attempts at success. David Goggins' journey is not one of uninterrupted success, but rather a testament to the power of persistence and resilience in the face of repeated failures. His path to becoming a Navy SEAL, an ultra-marathon runner, and a world record holder was paved with setbacks, rejections, and moments of profound self-doubt. Yet it was precisely these failures that shaped his character, teaching him invaluable lessons about perseverance, self-belief, and the importance of learning from mistakes. In Can't Hurt Me, Goggins shares these experiences not as cautionary tales, but as blueprints for overcoming adversity, demonstrating that failure is not the end, but a critical step on the road to success. Failing forward. The first attempt at Navy SEAL training. One of the most defining moments in Goggins' life came during his initial attempt at Navy SEAL training, commonly referred to as Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL (BUD-S) training. BUD/S is notorious for its grueling physical and mental demands, designed to weed out all but the most determined candidates. For Goggins, this phase was particularly daunting, as he entered the program with little preparation and a body unaccustomed to the rigors of elite military training. Despite his fierce determination, he quickly found himself struggling to keep up with the physical challenges, from punishing obstacle courses to hours of swimming in frigid waters. During Hell Week, a week-long phase of continuous physical exertion with minimal sleep, Goggins hit what he describes as his rock bottom. Exhausted, defeated, and overwhelmed by the intensity of the training, he made the decision to quit, ringing the bell that symbolized his withdrawal from the program. This failure was devastating, shattering his confidence and leaving him questioning his worth and capabilities. However, instead of allowing this setback to define him, Goggins chose to view it as a learning opportunity. He analyzed what went wrong, identifying key areas where he fell short, such as inadequate physical conditioning and a lack of mental preparation. Armed with this knowledge, he resolved to return stronger and more prepared. The power of reflection and adaptation. Goggins' response to failure underscores a critical lesson. Failure itself is not the enemy. Stagnation is. After his first unsuccessful attempt at BUD-S, Goggins immersed himself in a rigorous process of self-reflection and adaptation. He recognized that his initial failure was not due to a lack of effort, but rather a lack of strategy. To address this, he developed a detailed plan to improve his physical fitness, mental resilience, and overall readiness for the program. This included adopting a strict diet, engaging in intense cross-training, and practicing visualization techniques to mentally rehearse success. One of the most impactful changes Goggins made was shifting his mindset from one of avoidance to one of confrontation. Instead of fearing failure, he began to embrace it as a necessary part of growth. He understood that each setback provided valuable feedback, highlighting areas for improvement and reinforcing his resolve to succeed. This shift in perspective allowed him to approach his second attempt at BUD-S with renewed confidence and determination. When he returned to training, he was no longer the same person. He had transformed his weaknesses into strengths and was better equipped to handle the challenges ahead. Persistence through multiple failures. Goggins' journey to becoming a Navy SEAL was not a linear progression, but a series of repeated attempts, each marked by its own set of failures and lessons. After failing his first attempt, he successfully completed BUD-S on his second try, only to face another setback during SEAL qualification training, SQT. During SQT, he struggled with the academic components of the program, particularly navigation and other technical skills. Once again, he found himself on the verge of failure, grappling with frustration and self-doubt. Rather than giving up, Goggins doubled down on his efforts, seeking help from instructors and peers to improve his weak areas. He spent countless hours studying and practicing, refusing to let his deficiencies stand in the way of his goal. This persistence paid off, as he eventually passed SQT and earned the coveted title of Navy SEAL. However, his journey was far from over. Even after becoming a SEAL, Goggins continued to face challenges, both in his military career and in his personal life. Each obstacle reinforced his belief that success is not about avoiding failure, but about persisting through it. Lessons from ultramarathons. Pushing beyond physical limits, Goggins' resilience was further tested when he ventured into the world of ultramarathons, a realm in which he had no prior experience. Despite his background as a Navy SEAL, The physical and mental demands of ultra-running were entirely new to him. His first attempt at a 100-mile race ended in failure, as he dropped out after 70 miles due to extreme fatigue and blisters. This experience was humbling, reminding him that even the most disciplined individuals are not immune to failure. However, Goggins viewed this setback as an opportunity to refine his approach. He studied the strategies of successful ultra-runners, adjusted his training regimen, and worked on improving his mental endurance. When he returned to the race circuit, he not only completed a 100-mile race, but also set records in some of the world's toughest ultra-marathons, including the Badwater 135, a 135-mile race through Death Valley in scorching heat. These achievements were not the result of innate talent, but of relentless persistence and a willingness to learn from failure. The role of self-belief in overcoming failure. A recurring theme in Goggins' story is the importance of our self-belief in overcoming failure. Early in his life, Goggins struggled with low self-esteem, shaped by years of abuse, poverty, and racial discrimination. These experiences left him with deep-seated doubts about his worth and capabilities. However, through his repeated attempts at success, he gradually built a stronger sense of self-belief. Each failure became a stepping stone, reinforcing his conviction that he was capable of achieving greatness. Goggins often emphasizes that self-belief is not something you are born with, but something you cultivate through action. By consistently pushing beyond his limits and refusing to give up, he proved to himself that he was stronger than he ever imagined. This newfound confidence became a cornerstone of his success, enabling him to tackle challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Practical takeaways, learning from Goggins' example. Goggins' experiences offer several practical lessons for anyone navigating failure and striving for success. 1. Failure is feedback. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of your worth, treat it as valuable feedback. Analyze what went wrong, identify areas for improvement, and use this knowledge to inform your next attempt. 2. Adapt and evolve. Success often requires adapting your approach. Whether it's changing your strategy, seeking help, or acquiring new skills, flexibility is key to overcoming obstacles. 3. Persistence pays off. Goggins' journey demonstrates that persistence is often the deciding factor between success and failure. Even when the odds seem stacked against you, continuing to push forward can lead to breakthroughs. Build self-belief through action. Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build. By taking consistent action and achieving small wins, you reinforce your belief in your ability to succeed. 5. Embrace the process. Success is rarely instantaneous. Embrace the journey, including the setbacks, as each step brings you closer to your goals. Conclusion: the transformative power of failure. David Goggins' life is a powerful reminder that failure is not the opposite of success, but a vital component of it. His repeated attempts at Navy SEAL training, ultramarathons, and other challenges illustrate that true success is built on a foundation of persistence, self-reflection, and resilience. By embracing failure as a teacher and refusing to give up, Goggins transformed his life, proving that the only true failure is the failure to try again. As he often says, the only way to truly fail is to quit. For anyone striving to achieve their goals, Goggins' story serves as an inspiring example of how to turn failure into triumph. Discipline over motivation, the backbone of Goggins' philosophy. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins makes a compelling case for why discipline trumps that. Motivation. As the driving force behind sustained success, while motivation is often celebrated as the spark that ignites action, Goggins argues that it is fleeting, unreliable, and insufficient for achieving long-term goals. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady, unwavering force that keeps individuals moving forward, even when motivation wanes. This distinction lies at the heart of Goggins' philosophy, serving as the foundation for his remarkable achievements and the advice he imparts to readers. Through his own experiences, Goggins demonstrates that discipline is not just a tool for productivity, but a mindset that transforms the way individuals approach challenges, setbacks, and personal growth. The limitations of motivation. Motivation is often romanticized as the key to success, portrayed as the emotional surge that propels individuals to take action. Inspirational quotes, motivational speeches, and feel-good stories abound, promising that a surge of passion or enthusiasm can unlock untapped potential. While motivation can indeed provide a temporary boost, Goggins contends that it is inherently unstable. Motivation is often tied to external factors, such as a stirring speech, a personal milestone, or a burst of inspiration that may not always be present. When these external triggers fade, so too does the drive they generate. Goggins experienced this firsthand during his early attempts at Navy SEAL training. Initially fueled by a desire to prove himself and escape a troubled past, he found that his motivation alone was not enough to sustain him through the grueling demands of Bud S. When the novelty wore off and the reality of the program's intensity set in, his motivation plummeted, leaving him vulnerable to doubt and fatigue. It was only when he shifted his focus from fleeting motivation to consistent discipline that he began to make progress. Discipline as a reliable foundation. Unlike motivation, discipline is not dependent on external stimuli or emotional highs. It is a conscious choice to take action, regardless of how one feels in the moment. Goggins defines discipline as the ability to show up at the end. You listened to Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Thanks for listening to Wise Office Audiobook.